Hello, hello.
Hi.
Thank you. Such a lovely, lovely warm welcome. And for choosing to come and drink in a basement on one of the most beautiful days of the year. It's very British and I respect that. Even though Ezekiel seems to be providing 70% of the diversity in this room. I admire it. And you're such an attractive audience. It's genuinely nice to see good-looking people for a change. I would love it. I would love just to have some of what you've got going on. Give me a cheer if you're feeling beautiful tonight.
That's too much.
Richly deserved. Just even if I could have 10% of this kind of flair and style, I'd be a happy man, because no one's really going for this. No one is going for this as a conscious look. No one goes to the barbers and says, look, I'd like you to try and make me look like a pretty successful fisherman. And even the successful part is being largely carried through by my voice, which isn't bad. I mean, I know that I've got the kind of voice that makes it sound like I might have land. But it's not the whole story, guys. It's not the real me. You know, and I think if you look past that, if you take a moment now and you look into your hearts and you look back at me with kinder eyes, you'll see the echoes of the working class boy that does a lot of my chores at home. Ladies, close out for me. Of course, I've known the cold touch of poverty, although apparently we're not supposed to call servants that anymore. And I only make these kind of jokes because I know that I grew up in a working class council home in rural Somerset. And I've no idea where this voice comes from. I've got 3 brothers and sisters. They all have thick West Country accents. Sometimes I feel like my mum might have been bitten whilst pregnant by a very, very middle-class vampire. It would certainly explain my unquenchable thirst for blood. E-Marys. I put a middle-class spin on it at the end because you all looked quite terrified. What have we got here? Fish. Lovely vampires. Spin that out for a bit. It's quite nice having a voice like this. I'm sure there's more that we can explore together as a family. And aren't we all family deep down? No, this really is bullshit. Let's try some mild jokes. I actually quite like to have a voice like this. It's quite nice. I've grown to like it. As an adult, it works pretty well. When I first got together with my girlfriend, I realised there was some disadvantages. In the early stages, she never wanted to stay up and have sex with me. I couldn't understand why. And then I realised I had the exact voice tone of all the audiobooks she goes to sleep to. So we had a lot of occasions where we would get home and I'd say, listen, we've had a lovely evening. Why don't we take a moment now to get comfortable, take off our clothes. She's out, she's gone. Of course, now we've been together a while, it's kind of something I just use for evil. You know, if we can't decide what movie to watch on Netflix, I'll just put her around. I just have to read something or say something at random, you know, anything. She'll say, well, I don't think we can watch another Jason Statham movie. I'll say, well, perhaps something about trees. She knows it's coming now. She'll say, don't you fucking do it. I say, you know, from the ash and elder of the ancient Celts to the pines and oaks that built Britain's shipyards. She's like, fuck you. It's like putting one of those blankets just straight over a parrot's cage. She's nodding tonight, and I'd rather we kept that joke between us. It did have some difficulties growing up, however. It's a nice adult voice. It's terrible for a teenager. I couldn't do any cool teenage things. I did not do well in Martock, which was the rural Somerset village I lived. I couldn't buy drugs. No one wants to sell you drugs as a teenage drug dealer if you sound like a Radio 4 documentary about the dangers of doing it. I was that guy that just got sold all of the, the vegetable stock cubes that they said were hash, and get the skunk home and find out that it's dried parsley. Once, the first time I went to Glastonbury, I bought what I thought were magic mushrooms. They were shiitake mushrooms. They were magic in their way. It certainly took me on a journey, but it was really just one of umami flavour. What I'm saying, guys, is that you don't always get to choose what the puberty fairy gives you. As I was growing up as a teenage boy, I kind of hoped I'd turn into James Bond. Or Jason Bourne. So it's a shock when you look in the mirror one day and you see this. Less Jason Bourne, more Jason. Born again Christian. I'm Rich Bond, and that's all from me. Thanks very much.